I am super excited today. I did something I haven't done in so long, and I just couldn't wait to share it with you. So I am here, whether you're listening to me on the New Teacher Success Network podcast or you're watching me on YouTube. This is a message for everybody because I just got reinvigorated and totally excited about something that hasn't happened in so long. So today, what we're going to do is talk about the power of in-person professional development and conferences, because I just registered for my first one since pre-COVID, and I am super excited to share that with you. We will talk about that next. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, thanks so much for being here. This is the New Teacher Success Network podcast, and what we do is share some insights, some ideas, and topics that are really relevant to our new teachers, but also our teachers that have been in the business for a while. So if you are new or veteran or anywhere on that spectrum, I'm just happy to have you here. Thanks for being here. All right, so I want to start by first of all giving a big shout out to my Rika kids. These are my kids, my new teachers, my baby teachers that have been working so hard to prepare their video option exam for the Rika so that they can go ahead and get their credentials cleared, and they're submitting this week. So I just want you to know we're putting out all kinds of awesome energy out in the universe so that you guys will receive those passes and be well on your way to being a fully credentialed teacher. Now today, as I said earlier, I have been waiting on pins and needles for this one conference to finally drop their dates so that I could register and attend. Now, I'm not in the classroom anymore, so registering for a conference is so much easier, although the cost does come down on me, but it is something that I don't have to wait for the bureaucracy in order to make sure that I get a spot. So I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to be at in a little while and hope that maybe some of you will be there and I can actually see some of you in person. That would be so exciting. So today what we're going to talk about is really the benefits of attending professional development conferences and what you might be able to expect. So back when I was a new teacher, oh golly, this is like the early 90s. I think I went to a international reading association. It used to be the IRA, the International Reading Association Conference. And I went, and I think it was in, gosh, where was that? It was in Sacramento, I believe. So it was close to me. I was in the Central Valley and I was able to attend. And it was so massive. I had never been to something so big with so much pomp and circumstance. And I was just amazed at the quality of the sessions, the quality of the speakers, all of the publishers and the authors that were there. It was just this awesome, amazing experience to go through. And so I was able to walk through the exhibit room and just learn about different curriculums, get really excited about some things that I was interested in, see some of the authors and experts that I had been reading about. And it was like better than going to a rock concert for somebody that I had admired for so many years, but I'm a little bit of a book nerd. So it was a super awesome experience. And ever since then, as often as I have been able to, I have tried to keep my foot in what is happening around the country as far as different methodologies and curriculum and you know, all the things, the research. And so I like to attend these conferences because I am able to come out feeling rejuvenated, refreshed, motivated, amazing. I have done a couple of my favorite ones that I have done happen to be in California, and we're kind of tied to California content. But one of the best ones, and I think it's around the country, is the AVID conference. I went to the AVID conference when I was an AVID teacher, and this AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. Top notch conference. It was amazing. So much hands-on, real life experience on how to work with kids that are kind of in the marginalized area. And it was just amazing. We had lots of local chapters that we were able to participate in as an Avid school, and it was phenomenal. One of my favorites. If you ever get a chance to go to an Avid conference or become an Avid teacher, oh my gosh, jump at it. Loved it. A couple of other ones, and I was actually able to present, also come in as a presenter and share some of my experience with my reading labs and our research and what we had been able to do with our students. I attended and presented at the California League of Schools, which was a really great conference, and at the California Reading Conference. And so those are really exciting to me. A little bit of a smaller scale than something like that's an international conference, but still awesome. And I went to, as a middle school teacher, another one I loved was the California League of Middle School Conference. And I just attended that one. And let me tell you, middle school teachers, they're crazy. We had so much fun. You have to be a little bit like your kids if you're in middle school. And so I went down with a great group of colleagues. We bonded. I was new in the district, and it was just phenomenal. Had the best time there. So there are so many really great conferences that you could find at your local county or state level that you're going to want to research and investigate. This is doing them locally helps you to keep your costs down, because we'll talk about some of the cons of going to conferences, but trying to get yourself out there and stay refreshed so that you can attend at least one conference a year. It's such a big deal. So let's talk about some of the things that you could expect as far as what you would be able to gather from a conference. And let me stop by saying really quickly, all of the conferences that I attended were related to literacy and reading, because that is my area of expertise. That is my area of passion. But there are a great deal of conferences out there that cover math and social studies and technology. There's so many, so you're going to want to do some research. But any conference that you go to, you're going to walk away with some common things. Number one is you will pick up new teaching strategies and techniques. You will learn so much about what is front and center and is happening in real time, because these are the most current practices that you will see. So you're going to hear from people that have used whatever strategies or techniques that they are talking about. You'll hear some of their research. It will be a great deal about classroom management and engagement and lesson planning and all of these things that are going to help you to be a better teacher, no matter what you teach. And you can expect that at any type of education conference. Another thing that you will get is research-based practices. And this is important. We need to work on our craft, perfect our craft, and make sure that we are aligned to what evidence tells us works. It doesn't make any sense to do things that have been debunked or aren't working anymore. And so I know some people will be like, well, that pendulum is just shifting and it's going to shift back. You know what? I don't take to that kind of negativity. I'm about what's real, what's working right now. And if we can help that, use that to help our students, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see. And so you will see those things that are happening, that are current. You'll hear some current research, hopefully hear from some current researchers and experts, and just learn a great deal about what is the current best practices in the field. Now, another benefit of attending conferences, and this is probably one of my favorites, is the networking opportunities. When you go to conferences around your state, out of your state, you are going to be able to connect with other educators that are passionate and engaged in similar interests as you are. And those are the kind of people that you want to surround yourself by. You've probably heard that phrase, you are the culmination of the 5 best people you you spend your time with. And I'm telling you, this is what we want to do, is immerse ourselves in some really interesting, hardworking, passionate people. And those are the kinds of people that you're going to find at conferences. Why? Because it takes some effort to go to a conference. Not just anybody is going to be there. And all the people that are there want to be there. It's not like a workshop that your district pulls off that has to be attended by everybody, whether they think it's going to apply to them or not. Everybody at these conferences want to be there. They have put their time, their money, their energy to get there. And so the people that you will connect with are amazing. When you're sitting in conference rooms waiting for sessions, you're going to connect with educators. Exchange emails, talk about your situations. I still have a friend that is up, she's in another state now, but I met her at a conference and I still connect with her. It's just some really interesting people that you get to meet, and it's a great opportunity. Another benefit is the professional development and growth that you will achieve as an educator. This is an investment in your profession. You are putting time, energy, money into your travels to make sure that you are adding to your toolkit, that you are becoming more knowledgeable as an educator so that you can make really good and effective decisions for the benefit of your student. And so you're going to get so much of this. But something else that this can help you to do is to advance your career. Now, if you're a new teacher, you haven't attended any conferences or very few. Each time you do, you're staying up with what's happening, you're networking, you're connecting with people. These are the kinds of things that smart administrators want to see, that passion. And all of that passion that you are willing to invest in your career is really going to help move you along into whatever field you want to go to, whether it's you want to really, I guess, concentrate on one particular area like I did with literacy, or if you wanted to go into administration or coaching or the technology piece. The conferences not only give you the content, the experience, and the networking, but they really show that you are looking for those opportunities to grow as a professional. And then finally, and this is kind of one of my favorite ones, is you are going to have access to the latest tools and resources. Now, I mentioned to you that when I was at that first conference, when I was a young kid, and my first conference, the International, what was it? The International Reading Association, it was probably darn near 30 years ago. I was blown away at the exhibit hall, because what they do is it is this huge convention center with a big conference anyway. And it was full of exhibits and publishers and authors and experts sharing what they have. Some of them are peddling their wares. Some of them are signing books and things. And you just get to really explore what is happening. What is the world of publishing doing? Because we just don't have enough time to kind of immerse ourselves in what's really out there. We do a little bit on the internet, but when you're at a conference and you're walking around and you're grabbing the pamphlets and you're getting your free candy for doing it, it is so much fun. And again, it connects you and networking, but you are going to find some things that are really going to excite you. You're going to find so much teacher clothing and teacher wear. I had my first Reading Diva shirt from the IRA conference that I went to. So those are really the biggest benefits, making sure that you're developing some strategies and techniques, you're getting some research-based practices, you're having opportunities to network, you're investing in your professional development and growth, and those access to resources and tools. By far worth it to go. Now let's talk about the cons, and there's only a few of them. So we know that going to professional development conferences, they cost a lot. You have your registration fees, which are in the hundreds of dollars. And then you have your accommodations. And if you have to travel or flights or driving, and then let's not forget your food. So if you are paying for it yourself, it's almost impossible. So you want to find the one conference you want, and you want to approach your district early, because getting approval for these types of things take time, and you want to make sure that your requests are in there. So the cons really starts with the cost, because some districts are like, we just don't have the money. And maybe if that's the conversation, you might be able to approach them and say something like, what if I offered an after school session or workshop of something that I learned, so that you could bring it back and share it with your teachers? That might be a way to kind of offset that cost in their mind. Another concern or the con is that you have to get and prepare for a sub. And we know how subs are, they're hard to come by right now. So there are, though, a number of conferences that happen over the summer. So that's something to consider, is the time. Also, there are some conferences that happen like on a Friday, Saturday, so that you're only having to get one day, and that can be helpful. But you want to make sure that you make those arrangements early. And then finally, some people would, think that that time away from their family on their own time just isn't worth it. And I totally understand. You have to decide if that's for you. When my children were really little, I didn't go. But as soon as I could, I was there, because it rejuvenated me. It just motivated me, got me all excited to come back and finish out whatever it was in the rest of the year. So overall, you can expect to learn a great deal at a professional development conference or session or anything. But most importantly, you're going to walk away with kind of this renewed energy and vigor for what you do. So I'm going to drop a few links in the show notes and share some of the conferences that you may want to consider. So like I said, check first with your local states, because those are going to provide it'll lower the cost for you just because of travel and that sort of thing. But some of the popular ones across the country, and I'm going to share some that I want to go to, because I haven't been to many outside of the state, except this one coming up that I can't wait to tell you about. So one that you might want to consider if you are into literacy and reading is the Reading League. Has a big conference. It's fairly new, but it's getting a great deal of positive feedback. That is in Syracuse, New York. And that is usually, I believe, in November. So that one is in the fall, and it really focuses on structured literacy and the science of reading. And so if that is one passion for you, you might want to consider that one. Along that lines is the Plain Talk Conference, which is happening this month in New Orleans. And I am not going to this one this year because my family just went to New Orleans in January for a little vacation. So it was a little too close for us. But I have heard amazing things about the Plain Talk Conference in New Orleans. Another one that I am hoping to go to soon is the International Dyslexia Association Conference. I think it might even be called DyslexiaCon, I think. Last year, I believe it was in San Antonio, Texas. I think it is in Chicago this year. I'm not able to make it this year, but it is one that I'm hoping to be able to attend soon. Now, some other ones that there are, honestly, a lot of conferences might be attached to your unions. I know in California, this was true. They hosted a number of them. So you could consider looking at that. There's also the National Council of Teachers of English, the NCTE annual conference. There is the National Science Teachers Association's national conference. There's the National Council for Teachers of Mathematics, their annual conference. And so you can see, you can get into any area you like. There's even the National Association of Music Education, the National Art Education Association, the National Council for Social Studies, and the National Association for Gifted Children. So a number of them that you may want to look into because they can be super, super exciting. Some of my favorite ones are also held in Las Vegas. And, I just happen to be a Vegas girl and enjoyed my time there. That's where my Acadians conference was a few years ago. Oh, great time. So you always want to look also where those locations are and see if it's someplace that you want to go. I think it gives you an opportunity to travel. All right, so you ready? This is where I'm going. And I just got my reservation today because I did not want to miss out. It's been one I've been kind of coveting for a while. So I am going to the Big Sky Literacy Summit in Big Sky, Montana, at the end of August this year. Got my registration, got my accommodation. So I am going. My husband and I are turning it into a road trip because we moved to Boise and we're going to go and see parts of these couple of states that we haven't quite seen yet. And Montana, if you've never been to Montana, oh my gosh, it's probably the most beautiful state I've ever been to. So Big Sky, Montana, it is the Big Sky Literacy Summit, and it is at August 21, 22, and 23. So if you are a reading person, a reading diva, or you are a new teacher in Montana or a surrounding area, and you want to get over to that conference because I've heard wonderful things about it, I would love to connect with you. So if you're able to do that, drop me a comment. Let me know if you are considering going. And you know what? We will do lunch because I would just love to meet some people. And there are a lot of colleagues that I have and friends over across the country that I know will be there, that we're involved in similar groups and academies and things. And I can't wait to meet everybody in person. So that's going to be a blast. So, all right. As we wrap this up, I want you to remember, whether you are a new teacher, you are a veteran teacher, or you're like me and you're not even in the classroom anymore, but you're doing something else that is connected to literacy or education and teaching in general, get yourself into some in-person conferences. We missed these opportunities when COVID shut everything down. And so it is back, baby, and it is in full force. And I think that you're going to see some pretty like teachers gone wild kinds of things at some of these conferences as they start to open up. And again, I would love to see you there. So I hope that you will let me know. And if you are listening on Spotify, iTunes, to the New Teacher Success Network podcast, I would love it if you would leave a review. And if you're on YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, click the little bell, do all those fun things so that you can get notified whenever I upload something else. And on YouTube, it's not just the podcast. I put out things for my reading intervention teachers and my new teachers in California related to the RECA. So there's lots of things to do with me. Listen, thank you for being here. I know I appreciate your time. I know it is precious. And thank you for what you do. Bye for now.